So it was closing time at Krusty Krab.
So it was closing time at Krusty Krab. Just the AI forgot about the word the.
Now, when I first watched this as a kid,
I don't want this to be normalized that it's okay for a robot to say when I watched this as a kid when it didn't. I think that's so wrong. So I want to talk about how AI empowers people who would make this thumbnail to make content.
was SpongeBob always this dark? Or did they just try to scrub that part clean?
Like, look at the fake sensationalism. Like, was SpongeBob always that dark, or did they just try to... No, man. It's just a regular show, and there's writers working on it, and sometimes they made a joke that went too far, and the network was like, hey, guys, we got to do something about it. Like, it is that simple. I guess we should start by talking about the thumbnail. This is a common strategy. The thumbnail is what really sells the video. The thumbnail is how you get the viewers. A good thumbnail can make or break a video, right? We know this. And sometimes you want your thumbnail to be a little shocking so that it will stop people and they'll look at it. And I am no stranger to this strategy. Now, I think that what they did here was kind of disgusting. I think that this is kind of gross just because of what it's like clearly trying to imply, you know? It's kind of icky. So I did something similar to this with my modern SpongeBob doesn't understand basic storytelling thumbnail. Like, if you look at this, this is not a story and it's Patrick's butt. This is actually a frame from the episode, though. I think that's one big difference between my thumbnail and this thumbnail, even though they are similar strategies. This is literally a kid's show joke. Like, Patrick's butt is like, this is just a frame from the episode. Like, it's not, this is, someone thought that this was edited. Someone actually commented and was like, you edited in Patrick's butt. I'm like, no, this is the actual frame from the episode. Like, go to the episode. This is just literally a frame from the episode. It's a good frame. And so the strategy is this. So getting someone to stop and look at your thumbnail is huge in YouTube. Like, just doing that by even like a fraction of a percent more can be a giant difference to your video's performance. So my logic with having Patrick's butt in the thumbnail is that someone who's scrolling past this thumbnail is competing with many other thumbnails that are next to it. And the fact that there's the butt in it makes someone look at this one. They're going to look at it. By having that many more people actually look at this thumbnail, many more are likely to click on it. Now, here's the major difference between me and SpongeTruths. This thumbnail is not disingenuous to what the content actually is. This is about the episode Laundro Madness, and I complained that the episode didn't really have much of a story. And this frame kind of contributes to that. Like, this frame is kind of like nonsense is happening. Like, why is Patrick naked? Why is Squidward doing this? Like, it does communicate what the video does. So that doesn't make it clickbait. Is it something that is a little spicier to get eyes on it? Absolutely. And it worked. This video did pretty well, especially around the time I did it 4 months ago, because the channel wasn't even as big back then. This was a pretty overperforming video relative to a lot of the videos that were posted at around the same time. Now, I would say the biggest difference is, first of all, a butt is, you know, already childish anyway. There's already and also my channel's not for kids. Like, I know I cover SpongeBob, but like, I don't set my channel as for kids. I would say that my discussions are very collegiate. Like, my channel's not for kids anyway. But this is literally a frame from the show. It's from the episode. Like, this was presented. This was on Nickelodeon. Like, it's fine. Whereas this is not a butt. It's supposed to be implying something else, and it's like blurred out. And we know what it's supposed to look like. We know what it's supposed to look like. Real bad vibes on this video. Let's see what we're dealing with here. The most heavily censored episodes of SpongeBob ever.
However, there's one episode that involved so many curse words, they had to censor all of it. To
Wait,
the point
is this actually the premise of this video? Is it just talking about Sailor Mouth? This is just an analysis of Sailor Mouth? Are you kidding me? That's what that thumbnail is? Guys, this is so clickbait. The most heavily censored episodes of SpongeBob ever, and it's about Sailor. You know that Sailor Mouth wasn't censored after the fact. Sailor Mouth wasn't. It was censored. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about this in a moment. Their other thumbnail. Sailor Mouth is not a censored episode. It's an episode about cursing, and they use the dolphin sounds as a way to cleverly bleep it out. The problem is that the AI doesn't understand that. Yeah.
There's just so much interesting stuff happening behind this episode.
There's interesting stuff happening behind. Oh, is this going to be about oh, it's so dull. Let me guess. It's going to talk about how when the voice actors recorded Sailor Mouth, they actually cursed, and somewhere out there in their archives, there's the voice actors actually cursing. Yeah. That never came out though. Is that even true? It might be true, but I think it doesn't, like, it's not publicly available, them actually cursing.
So it was closing time at Krusty Krab. At Krusty Krab. Just the AI forgot about the word the.
Before
Mr. Krabs stopped him and said, "Wait, you should take that pile of filth with you."
Oh, Mr. Krabs, you shouldn't talk about Squidward like that.
No.
Just.
Krabs was talking about the trash bag.
Just literally just telling the joke that's in the episode. Like, that's literally what that was.
No, Krabs was talking about the trash bag.
It's literally just the joke. Like, SpongeTruths just took the joke from the episode. Like, like if you watch the episode, that's just the structure of the joke, is Mr. Krabs says, take that pile of filth out with you. And then he says, you shouldn't talk about Squidward like that. And Squidward's like, you're just repeating the joke. Why would you include that in your critical analysis? When I put a joke from the show, like, for example, in the video I just did on Squidward torture, I talk about the camping episode, and I mentioned the jokes where SpongeBob says, like, they hate limping more than running. Like, I put those jokes in, but I explain how those jokes work with the story. This is just SpongeTruths telling the joke. And the reason that this is a bad thing to do is because to the common viewer, to the median viewer, they're going to go, ha ha ha, and they're going to laugh at it because they're laughing at the joke from the episode. But in their mind, because people are stupid, they're going to think, oh, I like SpongeTruths. SpongeTruths made me laugh, when SpongeTruths just told the joke from the episode. So you get people who will say, SpongeTruths, I like SpongeTruths because this joke made them laugh. It endears them to SpongeTruths, when all SpongeTruths is doing is stealing a joke from the show. Isn't explaining the punchline of a joke ruin the joke itself? No, not necessarily. Explaining a joke does not ruin a joke unless you're the joke teller. If you're a reviewer, you can explain a joke. That's fine to explain what a joke is. He's not explaining the joke. He's telling the joke. I explain the jokes all the time while I review them because I'm talking about how the joke works as a joke. Now, if you are a joke teller, like if you're a comedian and you tell a joke and no one laughs and then you start explaining it, that means that it was a bad joke, because like a joke should be funny on its own, but a joke you might not know. For example, again, to tie it in with the Sea Bear jokes, with the, they hate limping more than running. Like, I explained how that joke works in my Squidward torture video. You might laugh at the joke because it's a successful joke, but you might not have critically analyzed it as much as I did. So watching my video on it could be rewarding because you get a little more insight into why the joke is funny, even though it was initially funny.
Oh, those wild and naughty poems kids love to write in your school toilet stalls? Apparently some...
Oh, isn't that weird? Kids love to write in your school toilet stalls. I mean, I guess it's just an AI thing. Like, I guess I could read into that a little. It's not like it's made for kids, because it would have like comments off. It would say like YouTube Kids, but I mean, even videos that aren't made for kids, like, try to get a kid audience, like the Mr. Beast thing, because like a large portion of YouTube is just children with like all the time in the world. So like it is a huge market. I'm not gonna like immediately accuse it of trying to like Elsa-gate or whatever, but that is odd that it says, it also is incorrect, like in the way that it says it. Like, listen
on the
to this.
dumpster. You know, those wild and naughty poems kids love to write in your school toilet stalls?
Those naughty and wild poems kids like to write in your toilet stalls. So they just, in one sentence, they mixed up who they were talking to. Kids love to write in your toilet stalls. So when they say kids love to write, that would be you're speaking to someone who's not a kid talking about kids. In your toilet stalls, which is the second thing it said, it means that you're talking to a kid. Oh, people write it in your toilet stalls, like at your school, you're a kid. So that's a very weird sentence, you know? It's probably just AI writing sentences badly.
From a simple one like Squidward smells, to which SpongeBob adds smells good because...
Again, just like that's yes, like you, SpongeTruths, you didn't write this joke. You can't just tell the joke. That's not cool, man. Like the SpongeBob writers wrote this joke. You don't just get to tell the joke and let that be a part of your video. That's not how this works. Squidward smells good. Yes, it's hilarious. You didn't write it. Get over it. I wish I wrote that joke too. It's a funny joke, but I also can stand on my own with my own content. Like what I make is nice, so I don't feel like I have to steal SpongeBob's jokes. Why can't they just move on and stop going over every joke? Because if this video was willed down to only the parts of it that were substantive, which anything in this that has substance would just be taking from something else that did this same analysis. AI isn't capable of being original. We all know this.
Like, nematodes are people too. There's also a good pun, like up with bubbles, down with air, which is...
Oh my goodness, he's just saying is he actually going over what all of the dumpster writing is? Why is that relevant? Like, if I was talking about this episode, if I did a review of this episode, and I talked about themes, what it meant, like why they structured it the way they did, why they did the cursing, in what universe would I need to go over all of the dumpster writing? I would just say SpongeBob learned about cursing from dumpster writing. I wouldn't have to say all of the different little jokes in this joke montage, because then I would just be stealing from the episode. I would just be stealing from the SpongeBob writers and their joke. And it's disrespectful to the episode itself, because when I make my videos about SpongeBob episodes, I usually want to think of them as you should go watch the episodes I'm talking about. I don't want people to watch, especially when I talk about bad episodes, actually. Because with good episodes, I pretty much assume that you've already seen it. If I talk about a classic SpongeBob episode, I'm pretty sure most people who watch like my Bang Geeks video, my Dying for Pie video, are people who've seen the episode. But when I talk about like a season 16 episode, I really do want people to go watch the episode and form their own opinions on it. I know a lot of people don't. I'm sure a lot of people don't watch like the new seasons and just watch my videos on it because they don't want to watch the new seasons because the new seasons haven't really proven themselves. I try to fight against that. I try to tell people that they should watch the show and my content should be supplemental to it. But this is just like don't watch just watch the episode, man. Like at this point, like this is a 12-minute video. That's the same length as Sailor Mouth. Like you could just watch the episode and you'd get so much more out of it. But yeah, if you cut this down to just the parts that were substantive, you'd probably get like 3 minutes of content out of that. And you need to make your videos a little longer than that, you know? So they want it to be a 12-minute video. So most of it is just recapping.
It's actually a survival slogan for divers, meaning if you find yourself disoriented underwater...
Look at this horrible editing. Look at how the diver face is transparent. You can see behind it. It's because, by the way, I know how this happens. They took the diver and they put it into Photoshop and they clicked remove background. And I do this all the time. I click remove background. And remove background is the computer determines what is the subject and what is the background, and it removes the background. It's not AI. Like people could call it AI. It's not generative AI. It doesn't generate something using a bunch of stolen stuff. So I think it's fine. I think it just saves time. There's nothing wrong with clicking remove background on Photoshop. Like you can do that. If you're like super anti-AI and you're like, oh no, like it's fine. It's fine. You can click remove background. But remove background is imperfect. It's a computer. It can't always tell. So when they clicked remove background, it also removed the diver's face. But because their editor is lazy and they don't care about their audience, they didn't take the extra step, which is super easy, to put that back in. You actually, if you remove the background, what I would do is in Photoshop, you go to select and mask, and it takes the parts of it that were removed and you can see them again and you can put back what you missed. And all you would have to do is click in the middle of this and it would give back the diver's face. Literally like 5 seconds. So either this person is inexperienced or they just do not care.
Which is actually a survival slogan for divers.
So they're trying to put in like a fun fact. Like I guess they're trying to tie in going over all of the dumpster writing. They're just trying to like tie it together, I guess, with like this little fun fact, which doesn't have much to do with the actual video. the actual subject of the video, which is the most censored SpongeBob episodes. What does the fun fact about what up with bubbles, down with air have to do with any of that? Not to say that I've never done something like that. I've done that where I'm like, oh, quick tangent. Like I'll say that sometimes in my videos. It is a common strategy, but it's just AI saying something random and then leaving it in the video to take time. But also like, why this background? Like, why would a diver who's disoriented, wouldn't you want like an open ocean background? Why would it be SpongeBob at Goo Lagoon and the diver is in trouble? It's just a weird editing choice.
Which is funny, because SpongeBob is an underwater creature, so the concept doesn't really apply to
Yeah.
him. I guess this
Wait, hold on. Which is funny because
is funny, because SpongeBob is an underwater creature, so the concept doesn't really apply to him.
the concept doesn't really apply to him because he's underwater. Up with bubbles, down with air. Dude,
There's also a good pun, like up with bubbles, down with air.
wait, a good pun. I didn't even catch that. A good pun, up with bubbles, down with air. A good pun, that's not a pun. It's a saying. You even go on to explain how it's a saying. But also, this isn't supposed to mean... So, okay, so I'm pretty sure that this maybe is correct, that that's a diver saying. I actually don't know for sure. I don't feel like looking it up. I'm just going to assume it's correct. It actually is a diver saying. But the point of up with bubbles, down with air that makes this a clever joke is that it sounds like almost like a protest thing. Like it's up with bubbles, down with air. Like you're almost saying like seize the means of production. Like that's what I always read this as, you know, but they just use this silly, or they use this real saying about diving to make it as a joke of something saying that. So you just going, oh, that's weird. Like that doesn't apply because they're underwater. And it's like, well, kind of missing the point there.
I guess this was the equivalent to us laughing at Dory's slogan, just keep swimming, right? You get the idea.
Wait, what? Wait, why would it be? That's incoherent, right? Am I missing something? I guess this is the equivalent to us laughing at Dory's slogan, just keep swimming. He's referring to Finding Nemo. Just keep swimming isn't a joke. Is it a joke? It's a theme. It's a main part of the theme. It's not a joke. And what does that have to do with what you said? That's just so incoherent. Just completely incoherent.
Anyway, what's important here is the next graffiti that SpongeBob is about to read.
Crabs is,
Now, when I first watched this as a kid, I really thought it was just...
When I first watched this as a kid, how sinister. When I first watched, again, trying to be relatable, being like, oh yeah, when I say that, because I probably said that in my most recent video on Squidward torture. I probably said, when I watched this as a kid, I thought this. Like that means something. When someone says, I watched this as a kid, that means something. That matters. And I don't want this to be normalized, that it's okay for a robot to say, when I watched this as a kid, when it didn't. I think that's so wrong. I think that's so repugnant.
Patrick said you can use it when you want to talk fancy.
He's
you just sprinkle it over anything you say and whammo, you've got yourself a spicy sentence sandwich.
That's just the line from the episode. Why not just have Patrick say the line? Usually when I quote a line verbatim, I just put in the clip.
They said their mouths felt tingly when saying all those spicy sentences.
They're just recapping this is the most heavily censored episode. What a sensationalist title. We're 3 minutes in and they're just recapping the beginning of Sailor Mouth. How do people watch this?
today's special is a Krabby Patty served in a greasy.
Just recapping.
But of course, the customers...
What with the fade out there? Isn't this so... The editing is so inconsistent.
But of...
Look at why did it just fade out like that? The editing is so incoherent. I just put out a pretty long video on Squidward torture, and I did a couple like new editing things in it that I hadn't really done before. But I try to keep my editing, me and my editor. I'm not my fiance is also my editor, so she works on the videos too. We do so much to make the editing consistent. I think that's a really important thing in a YouTube video. Like, if there's going to be a time where there's a noise that comes in, or times where you like fade out or switch between things and do a certain transition.
But of course,
like there shouldn't be a random fade to black that doesn't mean anything to the transition. It's almost like the editor uses like just stream of consciousness is like, oh, like maybe this will work here. And they just like put it in instead of actually having a specific, consistent way of editing. That's the point.
I mean, people
Another fade out. Wait, that's so weird. They didn't have fade outs in the other ones.
love Popeyes for their sassy attitude over here, but not to this extent.
What?
Especially
Wait, why
when
are
you're
there so
eating
many
lunch
fade
with
outs?
kids. Mr. Krabs rushes from the bathroom after seeing all of his customers go.
Recapping,
and he gives SpongeBob.
You don't need to explain all this. You could have just, if you're talking about the themes of the episode, you could be like, SpongeBob learns. It's so easy. SpongeBob learns a bad word. Him and Patrick say it a lot. All the customers leave. Mr. Krabs gets mad at them. The story then revolves around, it's like you don't need all this.
He said the F word is a bad word.
He said the F word is a bad word. No, it is never confirmed what the word is. The word that is censored by the dolphin sound is not the F word. That's not how it works. But AI doesn't understand that. It just sees cursing. It doesn't, so it assumes that it's a thing. But it's never actually said what the word is. Like saying the F word, that's giving someone the wrong impression of the episode. The whole point is that you don't know what the word is.
I mean, they're both just innocent kids trying some new slang.
They're not kids. SpongeBob and Patrick are not kids. Like, you even put a thing of them as babies. Like, you're overthinking it. Well, the AI is overthinking it, but like they're not kids.
Knowing what they actually meant.
They're kind of kid coded in this episode because it is supposed to be that Mr. Krabs is like the parent and they're like the kids. So SpongeBob and Patrick are kid coded in the episode, but SpongeBob does a good job of not making it too much like the characters are kids. Like, that's a part of why SpongeBob is successful, because it doesn't really say, oh, they're kids, they're adults, they're this. It just kind of moves past it. Harping on it and saying, oh, they're kids, they're this. You're actually like obfuscating how the episode actually works. You're giving someone who is watching this instead of watching the actual episode, which most people who actually watch this have probably seen the episode, but they're just getting a shallow, incorrect interpretation of the episode.
SpongeBob said it again in the middle of frustration of a ladder board game. But this time,
of a ladder board game. Wait, so why skip so much? So like they harped on for so long about explaining all of the dumpster stuff and going over the scene. Look at this, for like a whole minute of just explaining the scene at the Krusty Krab. And then they skip over eels and escalators, which is the most iconic part. Like, why not just over-explain eels and escalators?
frustration of a ladder board game.
In the middle of frustration of a ladder board game. A ladder board game. Ladder board game. First of all, it's eels and escalators. There are no ladders. Is it saying that because eels and escalators is clearly a parody of Chutes and Ladders? Eels and escalators, Chutes and Ladders? But there's no ladders in the game. So the AI doesn't get that, and the AI doesn't get eels and escalators, so it just says a ladder board game.
He actually said the bad word himself.
Yes, that is.
Now,
Yes, that is what happens in the episode. Thank you for again, 5 minutes in. Like, actually look at a video of mine. This video has said nothing of substance so far. The closest it has said to something of substance is the fun fact about the diver. That's it. And it's not even about the subject of the video. Look at one of my videos, any one of my videos. In 5 minutes, how many things do I say about themes, about story, about like why things matter? Like, you don't just recap the episode and then say something of substance at the end. That's not how these videos work. You have to say something of substance throughout the whole video. You need to have substantive, and it's hard to do that. Like, I just put out one of the longest videos on the channel. It's 38 minutes about Squidward torture. The whole time I'm saying something of substance. I'm not just recapping these episodes. I talk about 10 different episodes of Squidward torture. You should check it out. It's a good video. I talk about 10 different episodes, but I'm talking about substantive things. I'm not just explaining what's going on.
both of them are trying to race each other to see who could snitch first. Then, after
Again with the dip to blacks, at least the dip to blacks are consistent. Because I saw the one dip to black and I thought it was going to be like the only one. But dip to black is not a very good transition for a YouTube video because it's a very slow kind of transition. Not really a transition that I would use. I think I know why it's doing dip to black. I think it's a TikTok thing. There's a new thing-ish on, I think it's a new kind of trend where in the middle of people who do like bits, where there'll be like a bit on TikTok and someone will be like, You know, it'll be like POV, you're hanging out with the most annoying guy in your class or whatever kind of thing, and it's someone like acting like it. And in between the different bits, it'll like fade to black and come up. So maybe it's just kind of hopping on that trend. The bubble transition would be better. It depends. I do bubble transitions between my main chapters. I'll usually do more like a swipe transition if I need one. I did this new transition where it kind of like zooms in and blurs into the next thing that I think was really nice that I made.
Naughty kids should be punished, right?
Naughty kids should be punished. Again, calling SpongeBob and Patrick kids. AI is not capable of understanding nuance. And SpongeBob and Patrick both not being kids and being kids is nuanced. The way that the show has SpongeBob and Patrick be kids and not kids at the same time is brilliant. It's why the show works so well. In so many other kid shows, the main characters are kids. They are literally kids. And like, that's fine. Like, it's not bad when a main character is a kid. Like, of course that there's many shows where that works. But something about SpongeBob and Patrick being both not kids and being able to take the role of kids is so important to the show because it makes it accessible. There's so many like adults can feel like they can watch the show. Or even like kids who don't want to feel like they're being talked down to. If you're a kid and you watch SpongeBob go through stuff that kids usually go through, and you are a kid at the same time, you can sometimes feel a little more endeared to SpongeBob because SpongeBob is an adult in the show. So there's so much like to that nuance, to that teetering. But because AI can't understand that, it just calls them naughty kids. It either would call them kids or it will call them adults. It's not capable of understanding the nuance between those things. As in all of my videos, it is understood.
He said the two of them should give the Krusty Krab a fresh paint job from top to bottom.
Wait, look at how pointless this was.
Right? He said the two of them should give the Krusty Krab...
Look at this. He blurred... What is this editing choice? Look at this nonsense.
Naughty kids should be punished, right? He said the two of them should give the Krusty Krab...
He has the shot of Mr. Krabs with the paint cans. He blurs it out to bring up a PNG of the same Mr. Krabs.
A fresh paint job from top to bottom.
He has it swiped to the side. You could have just had the same footage. What? And like, if your editor is so lazy, why are they doing that? Like, you could have just had the footage in there. It wouldn't have made that. Like, does that make a difference to your like watch hours?
And now the tables.
What was that cut?
Rock.
Look at this. Look at the cut. Look at the cut. Suddenly it's a different background. You can't just cut from one background to another. It's very sloppy. Very sloppy. You need some kind of... I get using different backgrounds for different sections of a video. Like, it just looks so bad. It's so amateurish.
They have to snitch to Mama Crabs.
5 minutes and 35 seconds. It's literally just recapping the episode. Like, there is other than the diver thing, there has not been a single thing in this video that has not just been explaining Sailor Mouth. And again, let's remind ourselves, this is a video that had a thumbnail, that suggestive thumbnail, saying the most heavily censored episodes of SpongeBob, and it showed this episode. You understand this episode is not censored, right? This is not like it's self-censored. Technically, the word censored just means like bleeping something out. Sure, you could be like, oh, it's censorship. The most heavily censored episodes of SpongeBob implies that the SpongeBob made something and then later on it was censored. Like that, and that can happen, by the way. That's the Panty Raid episode. They banned the Panty Raid episode. They got rid of it. I mean, it's still self-censorship because Nickelodeon themselves decided to pull it down. It wasn't like made illegal or anything, which that's a whole can of worms too. Like, what is self-censorship and censorship that's literally by law? Or censorship by TOS. Censorship is a very broad term and it means a lot of different things. And literally, SpongeTruths is talking about the most mild version of censorship ever, which is someone choosing to put a bleep on a curse word so that they can reach a wider audience. That is the censorship of this episode. This is a family show and they wanted to do an episode that teaches kids about cursing. And if they had them actually curse, families wouldn't watch the show and kids wouldn't learn the lesson. So they chose to put dolphin sounds in it. It is the most mild, innocent version of censorship ever. It does not warrant you calling it the most heavily censored episode and putting that title where SpongeBob is naked, by the way, like, and that's not even what is censored.
And saying, you should all be ashamed. If you're going to talk like a sailor, you all better work like a sailor too.
Just show the clip then if you're going to say, and I know why they don't. The reason why they have the AI voice quote the lines instead of putting in the actual lines, and sometimes they do put in the actual lines. The reason why they want the AI to say the lines instead of having the character say the lines is because it seems like it's SpongeTruths doing more content. The less of your video that's you talking, the more of your video is clearly the episode. So by having the AI voice say the lines, they're making it seem like it's more content that they made when they're really just quoting the episode and recapping the episode. 6 minutes in, by the way, only recapping.
Needless to say, we were all just waiting for the final punchline here. Because Mama Krabs did...
We were all just waiting for the final... Yeah, that's the case in any comedy show. There is always a final punchline in any comedy show. That's how that works.
Did kick a little rock just like Eugene. And said all the foul words, too. Or no.
And said all the foul words. No, she said one foul. No, she didn't even say a foul word. She did not say all the foul words. She said one foul word as what the audience would think. But she said one word, not all the foul words. But the AI doesn't understand that because it thinks that it's a repeat of the Mr. Krabs scene.
Actually, it was just Mr. Jenkins with his jalopy.
Howdy, Mrs. K.
Again, with the PNG over the shot. Like, what's the point of this? Why do you need a PNG of the thing that's in the shot? It's already on the screen, dude.
Mama Krabs is a fine lady. She would never talk
Look at how this transition...
with his jalopy.
Howdy, Mrs. K.
Mama Krabs...
This is like a circle transition. Like, it's a fine transition. I mean, like, it's what... I mean, you can just do it in, like, Premiere Pro. Like, there's presets that do it. Like, this is a more
Actually,
smooth
it was just
transition.
Mr. Jenkins with his jalopy.
Howdy, Mrs. K.
Mama Krabs...
Like, that transition is more smooth, but then you go back here...
And
then you have that transition, but then you have a circle transition. So why the inconsistency? Why not have every transition be that circle transition? Or if you want to do different transitions every time, then have it be on like a loop where it's like maybe you have, I did this once, I don't do it anymore. My transitions are all consistent. But when I was editing I think it was my Truth or Square video, I had 3 different transitions and I alternated between them. So it wasn't the same transition every time, but it was 3 different kinds of transition. It wasn't one time I just didn't do a transition because I didn't feel like it, and then I did a circle one. I still like consistency. Consistency is so important. I'm waiting for the SpongeBalls to pay off. They don't. There is nothing about it.
had to put some goofy nautical sound effects to all the foul words.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the joke. That's what the SpongeBob writers did to make the episode interesting. Thank you. Thank you for explaining that thing that is apparent to everyone who's watched the episode. Why don't you talk about things that are difficult to know? Like, talk about themes, talk about deeper things. Like, anyone who watches the episode is gonna know that. You're gonna know that if you watch the episode. Oh, they use dolphin sounds because it's not. Great. If you watch my videos, there might be some stuff if you watch my videos where you'll be like, well, like, I knew that. Like, that was obvious. But a lot of the stuff that I say in my videos, I try to say stuff that wouldn't immediately be apparent to the average viewer. And, like, that's why review content like this exists. So that stuff that isn't apparent to the average viewer is something that we can think about more. That's how I share my knowledge. I studied film. I studied writing. Like I have a master's degree in creative writing. So I studied this stuff deeply, and I like to pass on that knowledge to everyone. Then that's what I make my videos for, so that everyone can see a little bit of what I spent years studying. I like to pass on to people. I want people to share in knowledge. But this is just a waste of time. And every second someone spends watching this that just recaps and says nothing of substance is time that people don't spend watching my videos or another creator who is just as good at doing that. And now you're going to lose your job to this AI slop. I think I'm going to be fine. I think if this is the quality of the AI slop, I think I'm going to be okay.
This kind of story is just going to make us more curious about the words. I'm not going to lie. SpongeBob and Patrick.
What? Is it trying to say that like, at least this is an argument.
Content analysis for children's television made by PTC, or Parents Television. Council
So like now they're actually saying anything of substance.
suggests they also mentioned this was an example of how levels of profane, sexual, and violent activity have increased in children's television programming. Which is, well, they're not wrong. Even
What is this Puritan nonsense? Are you kidding me? They're not wrong. It seems today that all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV. Is this what you're saying? SpongeTruths? What are you talking about? You know, it doesn't have real opinions because it's AI, so it doesn't have real opinions, but it's just like taking whatever is the most like puritanical opinion. This is also another problem with AI just scraping opinions. Like this isn't a real person's perspective. It's just scraping perspectives from the internet. So like there could be another SpongeTruths video that could like say, oh, like it's fine just because the AI finds another, like, yeah, that's weird how it went to the like puritanical, like this episode teaches kids, like makes cursing seem fun. I didn't see that at all in this episode. And first of all, I think another thing too is that it's such an assumption that like kids are stupid. Like I didn't get what the words were. It made me want to curse. Like it's just a way. And first of all, kids are going to want to curse. Like it's just life. Like, come on. And also, I think that this episode is important for that reason. Like if I would have my own take about this episode, like I would say that this episode does make children curious about the idea of cursing. And like, that's fine. Like, that's not bad. Like, what are we getting all worked up about? Don't be a baby. Like kids. And yeah, like I did sit around in 5th grade with a bunch of other kids at a lunch table talking about this episode and going, okay, well, what were all the 13 bad words? Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure so many kids had that conversation. And you know what? That's normal. That's like a normal part of development. Should we just hide that curse words exist? Should we not discuss them? Like the episode still does say like, hey, these words aren't really appropriate in every situation. And like, that's fine. I think that's a great lesson. Like, I think that's just fine with what it is. So whatever like the puritanical opinion that the AI scraped, I disagree. I disavow. I think it's silly. I think we are such babies about things being in shows. I know that there's a line. I know that there's a limit. I don't think SpongeBob has ever pushed that limit. I don't think anything SpongeBob's ever done has been too inappropriate. Nothing like the panty raid I think I've ever really taken issue with. A lot of gross out stuff I think is messed up. Ink Lemonade, I think gross out is just pointless and weird. And I think the jokes in Are You Happy Now and One Course Meal, you know the jokes I'm talking about. I think that's a little uncalled for, but I think that those aren't so much, like, oh, let's think of the children and their innocence. I think it's just that these things don't provide any substance. Like jokes like the ones in One Course Meal and Are You Happy Now? They don't provide a good substance. They just make you uncomfortable. Gross out's like that too. The point of gross out is to make you uncomfortable. But this, Sailor Mouth, is meant to provoke thought. Sailor Mouth's jokes are meant to make you think. It's meant to make you question a thing that undoubtedly children are going to be exposed to. Children are exposed to cursing. It happens. They're raised by parents most children are raised by parents who are adults, and they're going to hear cursing. So to pretend like it doesn't exist is silly. You should have episodes about cursing where you talk about it. You don't have to put in the actual cursing, as this episode doesn't, but to not talk about it is silly.
tricky. But that's just how learning goes, whether you like it or not. You can't really teach kids what not to do if they don't know what it is. Not to mention, some of the creative team behind the...
Wait, I thought you were being a Puritan about it. Now they're siding with it. Again, not being able to understand nuance. It says one thing on one side, but now it's saying you can't teach kids about something without knowing what it is. But you just said that there's like too much.
Which again is something Hillenburg said many times in his interviews. The idea of early SpongeBob is just to showcase how innocent SpongeBob is. Taking it as some sort...
The idea of how early SpongeBob is to showcase how innocent SpongeBob is, that's probably not, that's a little incoherent, right? Like, I don't think that's, like, I guess it would be that what he's probably quoting out of context is the show is about innocence. Not early SpongeBob. It's not specifically early SpongeBob. Early SpongeBob was just what Steven Hillenburg worked on. Doesn't have anything to do with being, oh yeah, early SpongeBob is about innocence, but later SpongeBob isn't.
Which I think we should applaud them for. They're willing to do...
I think we should applaud them for. But you just said that... But you were just saying that it was bad. You're saying we should applaud them for it? But you just said back here...
Make us more curious about the words.
This story is just going to make us more curious about the words.
Not gonna lie. SpongeBob and Patrick only...
So you don't like it.
Sexual and violent activity have increased in children's television programming, which is, well,
Violent activity has increased in children's television programming.
they're not wrong.
Well, they're not wrong. So you're making a very puritanical statement there. Well, they're not wrong. You're agreeing with the thing that in 2006 said that certain more profane content is becoming more common in kid shows. And you say they're not wrong, but they are wrong. They are factually incorrect. If anything, a lot of shows are cleaner now. I guess it's a kind of a difference. Like back in like the Looney Tunes days, there was a lot of like firearms usage that they don't really use a lot in modern cartoons. Like if you look like old Tom and Jerry, you know, but I guess like nowadays you have like dirtier jokes. Like I guess it just kind of changes. And also we haven't really seen much of an upward trend with that either. You know, it's just puritanical nonsense. And it's weird that he says later on, making such a puritanical statement, that he says we should applaud them for that.
What's easy, on the other hand, is talking about all the bad words.
What's easy, on the other hand, yeah, I wouldn't want to watch a YouTuber that breaks down difficult topics. Why would I want to watch someone break down difficult topics? I want someone to break down easy topics. What a self-report there. I'll talk about difficult concepts in my videos.
First two are F word and ass. Someone actually posted the uncut version transcript for this episode, but I can't confirm whether it's legit or not. So maybe take it with a little grain of salt. You had to actually curse in the recording session.
Yeah, they're just saying they had to actually curse in the recording session. Okay.
That means an uncut version of this episode with the uncensored cursing does exist, though
It's that I knew that it was going to bring that up because it's just such a sensationalist thing, but it doesn't add anything to the commentary. Saying this is out there with the cursing, the voice actors actually doing the cursing, saying it's out there, it doesn't mean anything. And again, this is another thing, like that's just like a fact that's out there, or it might not even be a fact. I think it's just conjecture. Well, I guess it might be a fact. I don't know. I've just heard that before. Like, oh, they actually cursed. The voice actors actually cursed. So SpongeTruths, this is very similar to SpongeTruths just taking the jokes. So now SpongeTruths is just saying something that you would see in like a Reddit post. Like, oh, did you know the voice actors actually cursed? And now someone is going to watch SpongeTruths, see SpongeTruths say that, think, oh, that's cool. And now they like SpongeTruths more because SpongeTruths is the one who told them that fact. It's just taking random facts, things that don't mean anything, none of your own observations, and trying to take credit for it. Should we talk about the racist? Well, let's talk about thumbnail. So the thumbnail, complete clickbait. Like a definitionally clickbait. This thumbnail does not even slightly denote that the video is about Sailor Mouth. Let's talk about another one. This is an older SpongeTruths most racist episode, SpongeBob's most racist episode. It's a video about squirrel jokes. So let's talk about the thumbnail. Let's talk about what they did. I think what I want to talk about is that someone who would make a thumbnail like this. And by the way, the banana house is not lost on me. That is a part of the racism. We understand why that's a part of the racism. I completely disavow, completely condemn, but we understand why that's a part of the racism, right? The banana house was from an actual episode. I know that's from an actual episode, but they chose to put a banana house. So I want to talk about how AI empowers people who would make this thumbnail to make content. So I talked about this in my anti-AI video, my initial anti-AI video, my very first one on the main channel. And I talked about how something about AI is that people look at AI as a way of circumventing having to have skill and money and time. Those are the three main roadblocks of someone being an artist, someone being a YouTuber, someone being an actor, a writer. Being in the arts has three main roadblocks: time, skill, and money. And AI circumvents all of those things. The problem is that I think all of those things are necessary. I think that those are necessary roadblocks. Yes, including money. I know that's controversial. And I get it. We should have a more equitable world where people have the opportunity to make things. But the reason that I also include money as a necessary roadblock is because if you're spending money on like a channel artist, on an editor, you're paying an actual artist. So that's why money is a necessary roadblock. Let's talk about talent. So generally people who are talented are people who would not do this. You know, it's not a one-to-one. There's definitely a lot of talented people who believe wretched things, who are even racist. But usually people who are talented, people who are introspective enough to make YouTube videos that would get 161,000 views, usually people who are good enough to do that would not make this thumbnail. But AI empowers people who would make a thumbnail like this to make content. And I think that's a problem with it. I think that people like this should not be able to make content because they can't without AI. Someone like this, whoever's behind SpongeTruths, they can't cut it. They can't write. They don't understand the show they're talking about. AI empowers them to do it. That's not better. It's worse. It's not this, it's this. It's bad that people like that are in our media landscape. They should not be able to make content, but AI empowers them to do so. Let's check out SpongeBob most racist episode.
It's easy to laugh when you're not the one being laughed at.
I think she should buy both.
You'll catch it stupid.
It's the stupid
A lot more clips at the beginning of this one.
squirrel.
You remember squirrel jokes? It's the episode where SpongeBob becomes a comedy star by making fun.
This was 7 months ago. You can already kind of hear how the AI voice is a little less human sounding.
Coincidentally, this is SpongeBob's most racist episode.
This is SpongeBob's most racist episode. So that claim is saying that the episode itself is racist. Different voice? No, it's the same voice, but it's less advanced because it was 7 months ago and AI voices have just gotten better since then.
Now, I'm not saying SpongeBob himself is racist, but this episode shows exactly how racism sneaks into our daily lives.
Okay, wait. So you already contradicted yourself.
This is SpongeBob's most racist episode.
So this is SpongeBob's most racist episode means, that sentence means that the episode is racist. The episode promotes racism. That is the statement that you are making when you say that.
But this episode shows exactly how racism sneaks into our daily lives.
This episode shows exactly how racism sneaks into our daily lives. So it's an anti-racist episode. You just said that the episode was racist, but now you're saying that it's an anti-racist episode. Contradicting yourself. Again, can't understand nuance. It's either one extreme or the other extreme. Like what you could say, I don't think I would argue it about this episode, but if you were trying to say it's a racist episode, you could be like, oh, well, like they tried to tell a story about how racism is wrong, but it ended up being racist.
Bikini Bottom always treats anyone who doesn't fit the mold with a little...
Okay, that's not Bikini Bottom, that's in Squidville, so that's not in Bikini Bottom.
Sometimes all it needs to hurt someone is one joke. It all starts with a...
All it needs to hurt someone is one. He makes multiple jokes.
Open mic night at the Krusty Krab.
The problem is that he makes so many jokes. It's not just one joke.
Or as I like to call it, comedy night for bottom feeders. Sponge...
Ugh, that's so cringe.
Mic night at the Krusty Krab. Or as I like to call it, comedy night for bottom feeders.
Or as I like to call it, comedy night for bottom feeders. Isn't that so cringe? Like you're talking about they're not real, dude. Like, why are you insulting animated fish? This is a problem with critiquing a show as if you exist within the world. Comedy night for these bottom feeders, like they're made up, bro.
SpongeBob.
SpongeTruths is a bottom feeder. See, now that works. The person running the channel is a real person. So we can call them a bottom feeder.
Bob gets a shot at stand-up, and let's just say, it's rough.
What's the deal on those things?
So, what does he do?
That was a weird example.
He
It didn't say the joke. It just said, what's the deal on those things, and showed the cricket. That's not a very good example.
panics. He scans the room, he finds the one person he knows won't boo him, his best friend Sandy.
Did you ever notice how big squirrels' teeth are?
So he's just...
He goes for the easy target, not because it's clever, but because it just works.
Not because this, but because that, yeah.
He cracks a line about Sandy's teeth, then her fur, her smell, her brains.
You don't need to go so much into it, man. You don't need to explain every different joke.
Stupid!
Sandy laughs it off at first, because what...
Different background. Is the music AI? Probably. Probably. I assume it is. If everything else is, why would it not be? I've never heard it before. It could just be like copyright free music. Usually those have, you have to like put a credit join this copyright disclaimer. So cringe. Usually you would credit it, but I guess SpongeTruths might be the type to just like find copyright free music and just not credit them. I don't think they ask you to when you use the copyright free music. I mean, I use the music from the SpongeBob video games because you can use video game music in pretty much any YouTube video. So I usually use SpongeBob video game music from the GBA games. It's probably AI music. I'd be surprised if it wasn't.
Don't stand too close to a squirrel, Billy. You'll catch it stupid.
A child is told she might catch the stupid.
Yeah, you just showed the line and then you said it. It's a pretty surface level reading of the episode. It's actually one of the reasons I haven't covered this episode, because I've thought about covering this episode, but I need a better read on it than just that. Like what SpongeTruths is saying is the read of the episode, and this kind of proves like why that wouldn't be my video on it, because everyone knows this about the episode. Like it is really saying the surface level themes of it. Like for example, when I did my Magic Conch video, I think I had a really strong read on the Magic Conch episode that is not really commonly talked about. Like you can look at the Magic Conch video and people know it's about religion. They're like, okay, it's about religion. But I went a lot deeper into it. I talked about confirmation bias. I compared it to how in the real world there are real consequences. The same, like you can look at the cartoon world, but then you can look at the real world and see what happens when religious thinking bleeds into our lives. Like I could kind of do that if I covered this episode. I've been considering covering this episode. I might cover it in a broader video about a deeper subject. I'm guessing SpongeBob is white and Sandy is black in this narrative. It's not really supposed to be any specific race, I would say. I'd say that's kind of the point, is that you could apply it to any two people who are different, who make jokes about people. It's one of those things where by not saying it's about any one group of people, it's now about every group of people, and it makes the story a more one-size-fits-all narrative. That's why squirrel jokes work so well as an episode, is because the fact that they're sea creatures and she's a squirrel, you can't really put any real race on it, and that's okay. That's the point. We don't want to. We want to think of it like from outside of a specific thing, so that if you're in a situation where it's just two different kinds of people, you can say, oh, it's like that in that episode.
Just like that, the crowd turns on him. So he makes a choice.
Yeah, you don't need to recap a whole episode. Like, look at again, I'm bringing it up a lot, but look at my most recent video, my Squidward torture video, where I cover 10 different episodes. I don't recap every single one. I talk about the things that matter. But when you do it's actually really tough to do. You'll notice that a lot of my videos recently have been about many episodes, and it's a general subject that covers a lot of different episodes. Even videos that cover like one episode, like for example, my Laundra Madness video, the central episode that I was covering was Laundra Madness, but I talked about like 5 other classic episodes in comparison. So most of my videos cover a lot of different episodes, mostly because it's hard to do a video where you just talk about one episode. It really is. It can be done. I have lots of videos that do talk about one episode. I go really in depth when I do. But sometimes they're also shorter videos too. I was looking at my Splinter video. My Splinter video is 11 minutes long. I don't make videos that are that short anymore. They're usually closer to 20 minutes now, even some 30. You know, when you make a video that's only 13 minutes long, but it's about only one episode, you end up just recapping for a lot of it. And AI also doesn't understand the difference between recapping and critical analysis. So AI will spit out a script that's mostly recapping if you ask it to write you one.
He gets on stage, puts on a costume, and delivers the worst line of all.
We're laughing with you, not at you.
Honestly, that line should be in a museum. It's the rally.
Honestly, another AI tell. That line, that should be a museum. Why that line? That's not
with you, not at you.
Honestly,
that's not really one of the more like poignant lines of the episode. It's just supposed to be SpongeBob being wrong. Like, I think the AI just kind of arbitrarily chose that as a line to like prop up and act like it's deeper than it is. Cause this episode is deep, but that line isn't exactly deep. That's just him being incorrect. Like, the part of this episode that's brilliant is seeing how the racism gets normalized, but we're laughing with you, not at you is more of just a symptom of that. It's not really one of the moments where you're like, oh, that's like the brilliant line.
We're not being mean. You're just being sensitive. It's how people justify.
We're not being mean. You're just being sensitive. Like, that is true. Like, that is like, but I mean, it took it from someplace else. It's not an original thought.
Racism in comedy. We're not being mean, you're just being sensitive. SpongeBob
Wait, it just repeated itself.
We're not being mean. We're not being mean, you're just being sensitive. We're not being mean, you're just being sensitive.
They just said it twice. And like, that's not an incorrect point, by the way. I mean, it's a common point. Like that's a very obvious, like clearly the AI took it from, someone who's made that statement. Like it's a common statement. It's important for even, I guess I could talk about it in the sense of, so this is making a statement that I agree with, right? Saying, oh, it's just a joke is a way of hiding real bigotry. But because it's an AI saying it, it's only going to say so much. It's going to be so surface level. It doesn't have any real perspective to actually meaningfully address that. So even though it's a statement that I agree with, it's not being presented well because it's being presented in such a shallow way. It's not making the statement properly.
He follows up with a punchline that hits everyone around evenly. It's a small redemption and a reminder that being funny doesn't have to be cruel. SpongeBob learns the real...
Wait, a reminder that being funny doesn't have to be cruel? No, he's still cruel in the end. He's still cruel. Like, it's still, like, it's just the butt of the joke is everyone. Because if you make jokes about, like, that is actually, it's kind of true. Squirrel Jokes is a complicated episode. I feel like a take that I would have on it, and I should probably, if I was to really get into it, do a video on it. I'm a little conflicted about Squirrel Jokes as an episode. Like, I think that it's as good of a message as you could do in an episode. So here's the thing about comedy, or here's the thing about making a joke about a group of people. If you're a comedian and you make a joke about a group of people, like a race joke, because you're a comedian, whatever your race is, if you make a race joke, the joke is not about that race. The joke is about you as the comedian, your relationship to that race. So when you make a racial joke, a comedian who is not racist, who makes a racial joke, understands that and makes the joke about their relationship as someone in their group to another group or to a person who is a part of a different group. The joke is funny if it resonates with us in a way that feels truthful. The ending is basically South Park. Yeah, so like that's why I don't really disagree with the ending, because if you are like, for example, South Park makes a lot of jokes about races, obviously, but South Park is not a racist show. I guess I can't go to bat for every episode. I know South Park has had some episodes that are blatantly transphobic, that I completely disavow. Have they apologized for those? Like they apologized for Man Bear Pig? I don't actually know. But there definitely are some episodes of South Park that I'm like not super into, but like in principle, generally at its best, South Park is funny even when it's being racist. Because the point of South Park isn't so much that it makes fun of everybody. It does, obviously, like it does make jokes about like all groups, like that does help. The reason that South Park is funny when it is racist is because the butt of the joke is racism. The butt of the joke of a South, like usually who's the character in South Park who's usually being racist? Cartman. Cartman's usually the character who's being racist in South Park. And Cartman is the character who is in the wrong. So the joke is that racism is wrong. And it's funny because of the way it's presented. The funny thing is that I don't exactly think that the end of Squirrel Jokes is very good advice for a comedian. Like if you're going to be a comedian, all of SpongeBob's jokes within the universe about like fish smell or like crabs are cheap or the squirrel jokes, like even if you are making fun of everybody equally, the jokes themselves aren't really that funny. Like they're not like offensive because you're making fun of everybody if you're like, equal about it. However, the jokes do lack the concept of what is your, like, if it was actually a good racial joke, it would be, what are you as a sponge in relationship to these other groups? But that wouldn't really make a lot of sense within the context of SpongeBob the universe, because there isn't a lot of social context to the different fish people, because the different fish people just represent regular people. So you would really muddy the water. So I think the ending of Squirrel Jokes is fine for the message of don't single out one specific group, but it actually isn't good comedy advice. But that's like fine, because the episode isn't about comedy. If you're getting to the point where you're going to seriously pursue being a comedian. I think you'll figure that out on your own. I think Squirrel Jokes is a great lesson for kids in general, because kids don't really go and be like stand-up comedians. To compare this to the other one, it's 440 minutes in, and it just recapped most of Squirrel Jokes, and it actually did have things that I would call substantive in between it. Obviously, it's AI, so it stole it, but it's almost like better structured than the other one, because the other one was just recapping the whole episode. Whereas this one, and I guess like that's kind of what AI is. It's a roll of the dice. It's a slot machine. Like maybe the prompt for this one was write me a SpongeBob script about racism. And maybe that's why the AI found stuff that had more substance. Whereas the other one was, oh, write me a script about the episode Sailor Mouth. And then you get that. I've met some people who are like, I'm an equal opportunity racist with their comedy. It just tells me they're a terrible person. Exactly. Like the actual ending, like just because you make fun of everybody doesn't mean you're not racist. Like there is more to it than that. Okay, so every joke has truth in it. Every joke is truthful. If someone ever says it's just a joke, it doesn't mean anything, they are lying to you. Every joke has truth to it. So whatever that truth is, if the truth is, I think something racist, then the joke is racist. If the truth behind the joke is, I think people who are racist are dumb, then the joke is a good joke. It's not even that. It doesn't even have to be about racism. Or if the joke is, man, me and this other person who have different backgrounds are different, and we have certain social differences, and I am pointing those out in joke form, that can be fine. There could be nothing wrong with that. You could do that without putting anyone down, saying that we are different people with different backgrounds. It doesn't mean you're inherently different. It just means you're socially different. It really just depends on what the truth is behind the joke. Squirrel Jokes is absolutely an anti-racist episode, by the way. I do not find the episode to promote racism, even in the sense of like the bully. Like, you know, like the bully, I could tell they had good intentions, but they just kind of failed. I think Squirrel Jokes actually did teach the lesson that racism is wrong and teaches kids how to approach it. I think that Squirrel Jokes has a positive lesson.
It's not just a stand-up comedy episode. It's a case study in how...
It's not just a stand-up comedy episode.
Not because they're okay with it, but because standing up makes you a target twice.
Wow, there's so not this, but this. It's so common. I knew that like AI did like not just this, it's this. It's like everywhere. I guess I don't have to worry that much about it, because sometimes when I write my scripts, I'll see that I write something that says it's not this, it's this, because it's a common thing to write, but I don't make it every other sentence. My goodness.
The first time SpongeBob pokes fun at her teeth?
Wait. You're getting it incorrect. The first time SpongeBob pokes fun at her teeth, this isn't the first time. This is later. This is later on. He pokes fun at her teeth the first time. He doesn't have the fake teeth at that time. So it's the wrong footage.
Let's talk about pressure. This one's kind of wild when you think about it.
SpongeBob's most racist episode, singular. You're talking about 2 episodes. Also, the episode wasn't racist. You said Squirrel Jokes was racist. You're done talking about Squirrel Jokes now, but you talked about how it's anti-racist.
Because she's not just trying to win, she wants them to understand.
Not just this, it's this. I cannot believe it's that common. It's everywhere. Oh, is he also talking about Squidville?
Some people, like Squidward, just get tired and leave. And when they do, what they're looking for isn't peace, it's relief.
3 episodes. Yeah, 3 episodes. SpongeBob's most racist episode. Just say episodes.
It's not a home, it's a filter.
Oh my goodness, it's not this, it's this.
Tentacle Acres becomes less about peace and more about segregation.
Look, there's no drop shadow on the frame now. It looks awful.
So yeah, Squidville doesn't have the jokes about land creatures or SpongeBob in a racially coded costume, but make no mistake, it's...
Wait, why does it say...
The jokes about land creatures...
Wait, listen to this. This is
hides behind
incoherent.
order. So yeah, Squidville doesn't have the jokes about land creatures or SpongeBob in a racially coded costume.
SpongeBob doesn't have the jokes about land creatures. Oh, it's supposed to be referencing pressure. So it's referencing pressure and Squirrel Jokes. It's incoherent. It's incorrect. The AI said jokes about land creatures. I didn't understand what it meant, because there's no jokes about land creatures. I guess it's Squirrel Jokes, but they say land creatures. That's a pressure thing. And then they say racially coded costume. And it's SpongeBob doing a laugh at himself. Those big teeth are SpongeBob's teeth. SpongeBob does put in the fake teeth. That's supposed to be the racist costume. But that's later. That's after that. That's not
But
that
make
shot.
no mistake, because here's what all three of these episodes have in common. They each show what happens when someone feels out of place, not because they're wrong.
They both show what happens when someone feels out of place. I'd say that only applies to squirrel jokes. In Pressure, they both groups think they're superior than the other. Like, Pressure is also about racism. So if you look at squirrel jokes as opposed to Pressure, squirrel jokes is about one group represented as squirrels, even though there's just Sandy, but it's still like one group, like squirrels as a group being oppressed by the other. So squirrel jokes is specifically about oppression of one group over another, sea creatures over squirrel. But Pressure is about two groups that both think that one thinks they're better than the other, and they are against each other. So that's a very disingenuous framing of Pressure, because in Pressure, both groups are in the wrong. Sandy's in the wrong, and SpongeBob as the leader of this group are in the wrong. Both groups are in the wrong in Pressure. So that's a very disingenuous framing.
Three of these episodes have in common. They each show what happens when someone feels out of place.
When someone feels out of place, there is no feeling out of place in Pressure. Pressure doesn't feel out of place. Pressure is two groups that think that they're better than the other.
Not because they're wrong or bad or causing harm, but...
And Squidville, that's a complete stretch about Squidville. A complete stretch about Squidville, saying that it's about someone feeling... I mean, Squidward feels out of place in Squidville. Of these three episodes, Squidville, I would say, is the one that is not about racism, but racism is there in Squidville. They have it where they all are squids. They all live the same and act the same. And the guys say, we don't accept your kind here. Like, they have all of that in there. But Squidville is more about how someone who is not even is racist. It's more so, Squidville is more so about someone who only interacts with people that are like them, that might not be good for them. It might not be good for you to be only around people who are just like you all the time. It is about race. Like, you can apply that to race. If you grow up in a place where you're only around people who are like you, that does have a negative effect.
Not because...
Yeah, it's not about someone feeling out of place. Like, Squidward does feel out of place, but not because of his race. Like, the racial elements of Squidville is very below the surface. It's there, but it's not like the point of the story. It's just a way of going with the story. Whereas Pressure and Squirrel Jokes are specifically about race. Actually, it's called Tentacle Acres, not Squidville. Yeah, true. And I also know that there's a couple of ice cubes.
And while Sandy fought back, Squidward, he just left. Because when the group won't hear you out, sometimes the only...
Well, Squidward didn't... Wait, that's a bad comparison.
And while Sandy fought back?
Sandy fought back. Okay, so this is the wrong footage, because this is from Pressure, where Sandy fights the seagulls. But I think what they're referring to is Sandy fighting back in Squirrel Jokes. So while Sandy fights back at the end of Squirrel Jokes, Sandy doesn't take it anymore. She fights back. That's the comparison. That's what they're saying.
Squidward, he just left. Okay, so here's the problem with this comparison. They're comparing Sandy's actions at the end of Squirrel Jokes, where Sandy stands up for herself, with the actions of Squidward at the beginning of Squidville. But the ending of Squidville, Squidward is just as brave in the end of Squidville as Sandy is at the end of Squirrel Jokes. Both stories have their protagonist at the end of the story stand up for themselves and stand up for what they believe in, and that's why they succeed. Squidward doesn't leave. But just because
Squidward doesn't leave at the end of Squidville. He leaves at the beginning. And the end of Squidville is Squidward leaving Tentacle Acres. So this is very disingenuous. It's drawing a connection where there is one. This is another problem with AI not understanding nuance. A human being would know that. A human being would be able to make that connection. But because AI just scrapes and takes whatever it is and just tries to make a point based off this amalgamation of words, it's going to give you nonsense, and it's giving you misinformation. This is incorrect. This isn't a correct way of looking at the episodes. Because Squirrel Jokes and Squidville They don't say the same thing, but they both have characters that stand up for what they believe in at the end.
Sometimes the only move you have left is to walk away. So,
But he doesn't walk away. I mean, he does at the beginning. But Sandy just walks away at the beginning too. Squirrel Jokes and Squidville have similar arcs. In Squirrel Jokes, Sandy at first ignores it, just as how in Squidville, Squidward at first ignores SpongeBob and Patrick by moving away. And then throughout the journey of the episode, they see that ignoring it didn't work. Even though they ignored their problems, it still comes back to bite them. In Squirrel Jokes, this is shown by people being racist towards Sandy. In Squidville, this is shown by Squidward being unhappy in Tentacle Acres. So they solve their problem. Sandy does that thing where she uses the stereotypes against SpongeBob and tortures SpongeBob and teaches SpongeBob the lesson. And in Squidville, Squidward stands up for himself by playing with the reef blower and then flying away from Squidville. Flying away from Tentacle Anchors. So in a way, they tell the same story. So acting like Squidville is about someone avoiding their problems, whereas in Squirrel Jokes, it's about someone facing their problems. You're just incorrect. Hey, Justin's Deep Dives with the $2. Thank you. You are an inspo and I made my own SpongeBob channel. Well, thank you. Thank you. Very good luck to you.
it's about habit,
Pop in.
ignorance,
And look, the other one is a different size. The Squidville footage is slightly bigger, so look at this. So it doesn't fully cover it. So it pops up, it goes ahead of it, and then the footage just disappears. Like if this were well edited, if this were edited by a competent editor, it would go above the footage and then the footage would disappear behind it. But because the footage on top is smaller than the footage below, it doesn't cover it all the way, and then the editor just cut out the footage, and it just looks like trash. The video, it talks about how, like, racism is wrong. Like, that's because AI would do that. Like, AI is not going to write a script that's going to be racist. Like, there are some guardrails on it. I don't know, maybe if you use Grok, it would. AI generally is going to avoid making content that is itself racist. But let's keep in mind, this is the freaking thumbnail. Like, the video itself is saying, oh, like, this is how discrimination happens. Like, oh, yeah, like, it can look like a joke. This is your thumbnail, dude. Like, you're racist. This is a undoubtedly racist thumbnail. And you have the audacity to have in the video, like, not racism. And I know it means nothing because it's just about rage bait and it's just what's going to get them the most clicks because they don't care about anything. Here it is. Every banned scene from SpongeBob.
because when you look at what doesn't make it on screen, the stuff Nickelodeon quietly edits out.
What doesn't make it on screen? So they're talking about SpongeBob and Random Land, which is the red mist. And then this is the part from Just One Bite where there was an explosion in the Krusty Krab, and it aired very soon after 9/11, so they got rid of it. But this doesn't count. That's not a banned scene. That's just unused scenes because there was different endings to Shanghai, and they just didn't use the other ones.
Was SpongeBob always this dark? Or did they just try to scrub that part clean? Let's start with the kind of scene.
Look at the fake sensationalism. Like, was SpongeBob always that dark, or did they just try to? No, man. It's just a regular show, and there's writers working on it, and sometimes they made a joke that went too far, and the network was like, "Hey guys, we got to do something about it." Like, it is that simple. Now, if you want to look at a good video that discusses the similar topic, watch my panty raid video where I actually talk about the social implications of the panty raid and why I think it shouldn't have been banned. That actually means something, but like saying this is messed up.
Was SpongeBob always this dark? Or did they just try to scrub that part clean?
Was SpongeBob always this dark, or did they just try to scrub that part clean? Like, it's conspiratorial. It's saying like, oh, like, were they like trying to do this? Like, that you have no evidence for that. They just made a joke in an episode, and then later on the network said, we got to take it down. It's not good for our brand. It's that simple. Now, you should talk about that. Like I did in my panty raid video. You can really discuss What are the social implications of this? Is it right to change an episode? Is it really inappropriate for kids, or are people just being babies? Like, that's actual discussion, not this conspiratorial, oh, did they try to scrub it from existence? Like, no, man, like it's not how it works. Unless you have evidence for that. If you have evidence for that, then that's pretty sensational, but there is no evidence for that because you're lying.
It's not gore, not really. It's still silly, still ridiculous.
It's not this, it's
but
this.
It's
Wait, that's not a deleted scene. They just didn't end up
There was a
doing
shot
it.
of SpongeBob
If it's a
waking up in
storyboard,
bed,
they just didn't
Asian
end up
was
doing it.
in nothing scene
This
that
is
pushed the joke to
misinformation.
names it. Originally, there was a shot of SpongeBob waking up in bed in nothing but his underwear.
Wait, that's misinformation. You're just saying that that's not a deleted scene. A deleted scene would be that it came from somewhere else. And look at this screenshot. This looks like it would be from another YouTuber. Look at the borders. I know these borders because I do borders like this. If you go into Photoshop and you take an image and you put you can put a border around it and it looks like this. Okay, so they wrote a scene and they storyboarded it and they decided it was too raunchy and then didn't end up doing it. That's not the same as an episode airing and then them cutting it later.
Nickelodeon cut the scene for pretty obvious reasons. The
Nickelodeon cut the scene. Like, do you know that? Or was it the writers decided not to do it?
implication, the show wasn't just making a joke about fast food. It was showing us how far
It's not
SpongeBob
just
would
this,
go.
it's this. That's weird. It's suddenly talking about, this is so weird. It was talking about banned moments, but now it's just recapping, or I guess even to give it a little more credit, it's describing the like themes, probably taken from someone else who's covered the episode. That's so weird, the structure. It's supposed to be talking about banned scenes, and now it's just describing the episode as it aired.
It happens during Truth or Dare, the big anniversary special.
It happens during Truth or Dare.
It happens during Truth or Dare.
It happens during Truth or Dare. It happens during Truth or Dare. Just no care. They don't care. They don't care.
The priest says, this isn't a real wedding. And SpongeBob, for just a second,
Wait, until the priest says this isn't a real... No, the priest says, I didn't know it was a
characters
play.
know it until the priest says, this isn't a real wedding.
Until the priest says... That's incorrect. That's not what happened.
And SpongeBob, for just a second, drops the act. It doesn't have to be. That's the line. 5 words. And then Sandy slaps him. That
Oh, is that real? I have no idea what this is. I'm not aware of this. Oh, it's a fan-made animation of the deleted scene? Gotcha. Oh, wait, that's so disingenuous. Thank you for letting me know that. So SpongeTruths is acting like this was real.
5 words.
Oh,
and then Sandy
that's so messed up. So they use the fan animation and they put it in there and they're acting like this was the actual deleted scene. And you have to actually look, like I looked at this and I'm like, that's not how SpongeBob moves. Like that didn't, I could tell that wasn't real. I'm glad it's a fan animation, not AI animated. Sorry, I thought it was AI. I can't trust anything in this world anymore.
and was fully animated and then deleted. Because
That moment was fully animated, then deleted. Is that just a lie? Because that wasn't real.
that one little line broke a rule the show had tiptoed around for years. That maybe SpongeBob isn't as emotionally neutral as he pretends to be. There's more going on under the surface.
There's more going on. It's always with the...
Under all the goofiness, he does want more. He just didn't know how to say
Under all the goofiness, he does want more. No, that doesn't mean that.
it until that moment slipped out. And Nickelodeon, they hit delete. Not just
I don't buy that. That's so misinformation. They literally, it's like, that's so messed up. So not only do they have this fake animation, fan animation, no hate to the original fan animator, who just wanted to make an animation of what the alleged scene would have looked like. No hate to the person who made the animation originally.
5 words. And then Sandy slaps him.
So it's like,
That moment-
so SpongeTruths used this fan animation to act like it was real, to act like it was animated, or to act like there was footage of it, to give more credence to it. And then
Was
they say
fully
this.
animated and then deleted. Because that one little line broke a rule the show had
That one little line broke a rule that the show had. So the correct assessment is the rule that it would have broken is that SpongeBob and Sandy are not supposed to be a love interest. And the reason for that rule is simple. If they were love interests, it would derail the status quo of the show. That's it. It's that simple. It's really that simple. It doesn't mean anything deeper. It's just, we don't want SpongeBob the show to be about SpongeBob and Sandy being a romantic couple. It is easier for us and our storylines for us to have them just be friends and play karate together. That is the way that we want to write the show. It's the same reason that, like in Seinfeld, Jerry and Elaine aren't a couple. It's like they just don't want the will they, won't they. Some cartoons have the will they, won't they. And some cartoons say, you know what? No, we don't want to worry about that. Our show is not about romantic gestures. SpongeTruths is making all these claims like this.
Tiptoed around for years. That maybe SpongeBob isn't as emotionally neutral as he pretends to be. There's more going on.
That SpongeBob isn't as emotionally neutral as he pretends to be. SpongeBob is not emotionally neutral at all. He's an incredibly emotional character. You mean neutral as in, you mean asexual. That's what you mean. You mean that because SpongeBob doesn't have a love interest. But I mean, SpongeBob did say once like, oh, Magic Conch, will I ever get married? But like, they just don't want SpongeBob to have a love interest because it complicates the show. Like, and that's fine. But like saying it's because he's like, there's something deeper. What?
Under the surface. Under all the goofiness, he does want more.
Under all the goofiness, he does want more. That's so disingenuous. Acting like SpongeBob is not a genuine character because he's a goofy guy because he actually wants to be with Sandy. And then
Just didn't
saying
know how to say it until that moment slipped out. And Nickelodeon, they hit delete.
No, man. That was not Nickelodeon. That is such... It's the writers of the show. Like, let's say that's real. Let's say it's like... Because it seems rumored. It seems very possible. Let's say that's real, that they were going to have a scene where SpongeBob said, the wedding doesn't have to be and Sandy hit him. And that kind of implies that SpongeBob is attracted to her. And what probably happened was the writers were like, that goes too far. We don't want to imply that. We don't want to imply romance. We're going to play it safe. And that's it. It's not Nickelodeon hit delete and ooh, this. Like it's such fake sensationalism. And that's another problem with AI is that AI is going to buy into fake sensationalism. AI hallucination. We're seeing it right now.
Not just about SpongeBob's feelings, but about the boundaries they built around his character.
Not just this.
He's not supposed to want. He's not supposed to feel.
What are you talking about? He's not supposed to want. He's not supposed to feel. That's like every episode that focuses on him, dude. The very first episode, he wants and feels. And Help Wanted, he wants to work at the Krusty Krab. He feels nervous. At the end, he feels triumphant. What are you talking about? Just because they don't have the dude want to get a date because they feel that romance drama isn't good for their show doesn't mean he doesn't want and feel.
But here, just for a moment, we saw a version of SpongeBob who doesn't reset.
Here, just for a moment, we saw a version of SpongeBob that doesn't reset. Shows the fan animation that isn't real.
Every bad word with a dolphin squeak.
Oh my goodness, Sailor Mouth. We come full circle here. We come full circle.
Behind that dolphin sound, the actors actually say the curse word.
That's not... Okay, first of all, he said this again. Oh my good, he's reusing. So this is from 7 months ago. This is 7 months ago. The other one, the other video we watched today came out today as of the time of this stream. And he said this same fun fact. So again, what I said earlier was he said this fun fact so that if this is the first time you hear this fun fact about how the actors actually curse, you're going to think of SpongeTruths whenever you hear that fact. Be like, oh, I learned that from SpongeTruths. So now SpongeTruths is saying this well-known fact about the show, and now you feel endeared to SpongeTruths because SpongeTruths said it. And SpongeTruths didn't earn it. SpongeTruths didn't make an original observation. They just said a thing that other people have said. You said this in this video, now you're saying it in the other video. Also, that's not a banned scene. A banned scene would be they changed it after the fact. Or they a banned scene would be that the scene was intended to be something else, and then they had to change it for one reason or another. But them actually cursing, they always intended to censor the cursing with the dolphin sound. The only reason they had the actors actually curse was so that the lines would flow properly and they could put the dolphin sounds over it. Because if they didn't curse, if they just didn't say anything, the flow of the characters would be off. But that's not a banned scene.
and Nickelodeon kept the tapes. For years, it was just
And yeah, they keep all the recordings. What do you mean they kept? Yeah, like that's sensationalist. I mean, maybe not. Maybe they deleted it. Like maybe they actually did delete the files. You could, but I would assume that Nickelodeon would like it's some, again, sensationalist.
actually say the curse words, all of them. And Nickelodeon kept the tapes.
And Nickelodeon kept the tapes. Yeah, dude, I'm pretty sure that a big company would keep all of the recordings of their actors that they pay millions of dollars to voice the characters. Yeah, I think they would want to keep all of the recordings of the voice actors that they paid so much money to have record the voices. Like, don't act like, ooh, they kept the tapes. Yeah, they keep all of it. Of course they do.
Until a few years ago, when 2 of those original audio clips were leaked online. And
Wait. Hold on. This is 7 months ago, and you're saying that they got leaked. But in the video today, you said that they never got leaked. Did you forget?
Dutchman immediately eats
That's not banned. They're talking about Shanghai. It's not a banned scene. It just didn't air again.
SpongeBob's ending won, the other 2 were buried. Now here's where it gets interesting. According to sources, the network decided never to air the other endings again. Not because they were confusing, but because they were too dark.
According to sources, it's Wikipedia of Shanghai.
Because they were too dark, especially Patrick's. There's something
Wait, too dark, especially Patrick. Wait. Patrick's isn't any more disturbing than the other one. This is so disingenuous. I don't know if that's true, that they didn't air the other endings again because the Dutchman ate them and you see them in their stomach. I don't think so, but Patrick's isn't any more disturbing than the other one. In both Squidward and Patrick's endings, I've seen all the different endings. They wish for something and the wish goes wrong. Patrick wishes for gum and Squidward wishes that he'd never met SpongeBob and Patrick, but then it goes like nothing changes except they're like, "Hi, I'm SpongeBob." Like that's the joke. In both non-SpongeBob endings, you see the Flying Dutchman eat both of them. So why single out Patrick's ending?
Patrick's. There's something especially haunting about that version. Patrick accepts his fate. He just sits there, chewing gum, trying to enjoy his last moment.
What? That read makes no sense.
Haunting about that version. Patrick accepts his fate. He just sits there, chewing gum.
No, bro, he's not accepting his fate chewing gum. Unironically, it ain't that deep, bro. But like, it ain't that deep in the sense that like, that's not the point. Like the joke is funny. Okay, so jokes are funny because of truth. And this joke's not amazing. It's not the funniest joke ever. But the truth behind the joke is that Patrick is so dumb that he wishes for gum in this situation. That's the joke. That is what it means, is that Patrick is not smart. And I think he says something along the lines of like, well, if you're gonna be here for eternity, you might as well have some gum or whatever. And like, that's the joke. And the truth behind it is just that Patrick's dumb. Like that's the joke. You know, it's not that funny. It's not amazing. There's much better jokes in this episode, but like, that's the joke. The moment does not mean that he's like resigning himself. Squidward and SpongeBob kind of do that because they chew the gum too. And they kind of like resign themselves. They're like, yeah, well, we might as well have the gum if we're going to get eaten. But like, that's not what happens.
Even Squidward's fate, though played for laughs, ends in erasure. His one selfish wish makes him completely alone and forgotten, then eaten anyway. SpongeBob for...
Yeah, you just acknowledge they get eaten in both of them. So why is Patrick's darker? The SpongeBob ending is the best one narratively. I talked about that in my Flying Dutchman video. The fact that you don't see them get eaten and it ends with a cycle is a much better way of concluding the story, where the Dutchman doesn't win and they don't win. None of them win. They just end up going in a circle forever. It is the best ending. Watch my Flying Dutchman video and that'll... Was it rigged? I think so. I think it was rigged. I think it was always supposed to be the SpongeBob ending. I think the SpongeBob ending was the good ending. I think that they knew that that was the strongest one, but they wanted the gimmick. But they knew that the SpongeBob ending was the most narratively sound ending. I think at the same time, though, like, even if it wasn't rigged, of course SpongeBob was going to win. He's the title character. So, of course, he would get the most votes. So, yeah, who knows? Because why would they ban them? I don't believe this is true. Like, according to sources, I don't know. Like, I guess maybe they did. But the point of Shanghai, the original airing, is that you chose the ending. Like, you chose the ending, and whatever ending you chose is forever the ending in syndication. So why would they need to ban the other endings? There was never a reason to ever air the other endings anyway. So why would they even need to ban them?
In the middle of that episode, there's a quick cut to an image. Squidward, bloodshot eyes. But once people caught it, Nickelodeon pulled the scene, replaced it with something harmless. Baby Squidward giggling in a diaper, which somehow I think is even creepier.
I've seen a Reddit comment that basically said exactly what SpongeTruths just said, is that the other, because I've researched this before at SpongeBob at Random Land. I actually considered doing a video. I might still do it. I considered doing a video on like surreal SpongeBob episodes. So I researched a little bit about SpongeBob at Random Land and how the edited version has the Squidward baby. And I saw on Reddit basically someone saying exactly this. So that's probably where the AI got it from.
Because Red Mist was never meant to be part of SpongeBob. But the creators acknowledged it. They folded it into the fabric of the show, even if it was only for a single frame.
Yeah, it was just supposed to be a joke.
And that's the part that sticks with you. Because if that can bleed into a show, even if the darkest, most disturbing fan nightmare...
It was just the writers and animators having a little fun and putting in a creepypasta reference. It doesn't make the creepypasta canon. It's just the writers and animators having a little bit of fun, and then the network realized what they did and told them to take it down. It ain't that deep, bro.
And flash on screen, then you have to ask, what else made it through? So
what does that mean? What do you mean, what else made it through? Nothing else made it through. Because we would know. What do you mean, what else made it through? It's an incoherent question.
What do you make of all this? When you look at the scenes Nickelodeon cut, the awkward ones, the gross ones, the ones that...
The scenes Nickelodeon cut.
So what do we make of all this? When you look at the scenes Nickelodeon cut, the awkward...
The awkward ones, that's not a real animation. It's a fan animation.
Cutting the parts where SpongeBob gets too sad, too angry, or too attached.
No? Cutting the parts where SpongeBob gets too sad,
or even clarity,
shows the
emotion. Cutting the parts
shows the Sandy. That's not sad. It's more of an embarrassment focused episode.
Sad, too angry.
Too angry. Too angry. This is Sailor Mouth. That's not cut. He does get angry in Sailor Mouth. They didn't change that at all. Sailor Mouth, SpongeBob getting angry in Sailor Mouth it's exactly the way that they originally wrote and intended it to be. It did not get banned later on. The dolphin censorship was always a part of the episode.
Or too attached.
Saying that they don't want, like it's some conspiracy, like, oh, SpongeBob gets too attached. No, man, they just think romance is a boring storyline. So they didn't want SpongeBob and Sandy to be boyfriend and girlfriend. It's that simple. They look at other shows where you have the typical boy has a crush on a girl, and they thought, that's boring. I don't want to do that. I want our female lead to be a cool scientist who does karate, and her and SpongeBob are just going to be friends. And it's that simple. That's the way that they wanted to tell the story. Whereas in other shows, they would have had it be romantic. It's not some kind of like conspiracy.
Because sometimes it's not the gore or the language that crosses...
It's not this, it's this. I can't believe how common that is.
Line. That's what these deleted moments reveal.
No, they're not. No, they're not. The deleted moments, first of all, most of those aren't deleted moments.
Or afraid they'll never be seen the way they want to be. That's what these...
These deleted moments are deleted because they're controversial. It's that simple. The Squidward getting blown up with the gas is controversial because it was right after September 11th. The thing with Patrick rubbing Sandy's back, they just thought it seemed raunchy. The SpongeBob saying the thing about the wedding, that's not even banned. Like, that's not the same as, like, the other example they just said, those were banned because they thought that they would be inappropriate for a family show. The one with SpongeBob and Sandy is just the writers deciding that they didn't want to go in that direction with the character. It's that simple. It's that simple. But it's none of what you're saying.
And a show that sometimes said more in what it removed than what it left in.
A show that said more in what it removed shows a fan animation. Oh, look, we got the thumbnail for the most racist episode. SpongeTruths. SpongeTruths. Hey Jack, are you going to look at other sponge tubers and dissecting them? I'm considering, I think next week. Next week I want to talk about No Villains Are Safe. Other like sponge tubers, like non-AI sponge tubers. I don't know. Are there any I should look at? Like I think the AI ones, because I have a lot to say that's critical. I don't think I'd really want to look at a sponge tuber I like, you know, because then I wouldn't really have much to say other than I like them. And also I really like being anti-AI. I think anti-AI is a pretty big part of me.